Hey host, we're coming to you today with our first e-training for the 2019 fall semester. But if you're watching this at any other semester, this is great information for each of us any time of the year. Today we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that could ruin our groups. Okay, and of course, if you've made these mistakes like I have, and I know we could probably say, well, there's probably 1,000 mistakes. You're absolutely right. And we've all made them, and some of us more than others. But if you've ever made some of these, don't feel bad. There is a way that we can revive and return and recover whatever that mistake is. So we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that we can make that could potentially ruin if we let it get out of hand. Okay. The first one is allowing an unsafe environment. Okay. I think we all believe, and our goal is for our conversations to move below the surface into deeper sharing. And for those of us that are doing studies that require discussions, that's really important. This allows for our relationships to grow in true authenticity. But it will never happen if the group is unsafe, okay? And we all know, and I think we could all agree that if the group is not a safe place to share, we won't. People will not share in that. You know, I know I wouldn't, and I know that you wouldn't either. So what are some examples, okay? Confidentiality. It is so crucial that the group knows, all of us in the group knows from the very get-go that what's said in the group stays in the group, okay? And it's kind of like that Vegas mentality, you know. So it's so crucial that whatever's discussed that evening or whenever y'all meet, that we're not discussing it on Sunday with somebody else. Oh, Pastor George is this or she did that. No. It stays right there. That's a safe environment. Another thing, a judge-free zone. So important that we don't have people in there judging each other, okay? So important. Once again, that leads to an unsafe environment. Last thing, minimize over talkers. Okay, it's so crucial because you know there's some groups and some people, okay, that they like to dominate that conversation. Well, for other people, we're like, well, I can't get a word in edgewise, so why even bother sharing? So let's make sure that we're asking people to share, but also allow others to share as well. Again, something else that we can let them know in the very first group meeting, say, hey, listen, in order for all of us to have an equal time to share, let's avoid that over-talking mentality and allow others to share as well. Number 2, moving at the wrong speed. And let me explain this a little bit, okay? We need to get to a point where we're moving at the right pace through whatever group material it is. Whether we're reading straight from the Bible or we're following like a DVD curriculum of sorts, okay, it's important to move at a speed that allows the members to process that information. Process the information. Let's focus on that a little bit. And put it into practice. Remember, the scripture says that we need to be doers of the word, okay? It's great that we read it, it's great that we learn it, but we also have to get to a point where we're doing it. Our goal is transformation, okay? Not necessarily information, but we're using that information to hopefully lead to transformation. But if we're not allowing that time within that speed and that pace that we're going, it might never happen. So what are some examples, okay? For the longest time, I thought I needed to finish and ask each and every question that I had on my agenda that night. Boy, was I wrong. Some group meetings, we would get to the first question, maybe even the second, and that was the whole evening. But guess what? Those probably produced the best discussions that we ever had because it allowed us moment to really focus on 1 or maybe 2 questions, and that was it. And that was God working in that and through that, okay? Another mistake, or another way we can do this is slowing things way down. And it's okay to slow things down and maybe even go ahead and repeat the question or the comment or whatever. But when we're constantly doing that or repeating it 4, 5, 6, 7 times, then maybe we need to go offline with that person who's just not getting it, okay? And maybe we could discuss that with them at some other time, okay? Last thing, beating a dead horse. There's nothing more frustrating, and I think you all agree, than beating a horse, okay, and then beating it some more, reviving it, and then beat it again. There has to get to a point, especially in those non-essential issues, that we agree to disagree and we move on. Okay? It's so important to do that, and it's okay to let it go. Just like that movie Frozen, let it go. So, third mistake, getting together only for meetings. Really crucial. We typically focus our majority of the time and energy on our group meetings, okay, to be as effective as possible. And that's really important. Trust me, it really is, okay? But the danger can be if the only reason that we meet, if that's all that the group is about, okay, that group will merely become just a class or just another program, okay? And I think we could all agree there's no kind of life change in a class or just in a program. So if you're faced with all the times that you guys meet as a group is for small group or connect group stuff, then I really encourage you guys to do something. And here are the three initials, FNO. Write it down. If you're writing notes, write down FNO. It stands for Fun Night Out. Okay? So let's say, and so how does that work? Well, it's just a fun night out. On the third, maybe fourth time that you all meet as a group, the next meeting, plan a potluck, a game night, a movie night, whatever night, instead of that group meeting. It's a great way to connect. It's a great way to really grow into a deeper relationship. And just by doing that every so often, you will see God move in ways that you couldn't even imagine. You know, and so I really want to encourage you guys to make FNO just a huge part of your group moving forward. The fourth mistake, killing the group discussion. Let me explain that a little bit. Okay? We desire, all of our desire is to see healthy, engaging discussions. And yet often this is a big challenge. It really truly is. Okay? While some of this depends on the personalities, and we could all agree we got different personalities in our group, there are definitely some simple things that we can do to help ensure great discussions. So here are a few tips that I have put down here. First, don't be the first person to answer the question. Repeat after me. Silence is golden. Let's do it one more time just to feel good. Silence is golden, okay? I learned this concept years ago and it helped me so much, so I hope that it does for you as well. Silence is golden is a concept that when we ask a question, remember, we've seen that question 2 or 3 times. We've prepared and we planned and we prayed for our group night. So we know what that question is and have a kind of an idea of what our answer is going to be. Remember, this is the first time that they're hearing this question. So the fact that they're silent means that, hey, I'm thinking about this. I'm absorbing it, I'm internalizing it, so that's good. You know, and you may have to restate the question, and that's fine, but let them answer it. Silence is golden, okay? Follow-up questions are so important. If somebody says, hey, listen, you know what? I think the sky is orange. Okay, great. Why do you think that is? Well, what makes you think that is? Play that devil's advocate. Well, you know, because I say it's blue. So why is my opinion different from yours? Those are great discussions to have, okay? Ask open-ended questions. And what that is a question that requires more than a yes or a no. Those are great ways to not kill a discussion and keep that discussion going. And once again, if it's just the first question that you're going through, that's okay. And the fifth mistake is not inviting new people, okay? This is so important. Of course, they're all important. New people, we got to remember that new people bring new perspectives, okay? And I think sometimes as a group, especially if we've met for several months or years or whatever, we can get very comfortable with each other, which is okay. But once again, we may not be growing as much as we think we are. Okay? I heard something called the empty chair years ago. And I was like, well, what is that empty chair all about? Well, they challenged me as a group leader to every group meeting to set out an empty chair somewhere in the room, in the living room or whatever. that empty chair represented a person or a family or people or whatever that hadn't yet come that we've invited or that we've yet to invite. So I want to challenge you guys with that empty chair concept. Set out a chair every group meeting, okay? Pray for whoever that is, and once that seat is filled, pull out another chair. And that's how we continue to invite people, get that new perspective, and keep growing as a group. So thank you again for all that you do. I'm praying for you and your groups, and your coaches are here for you. I'm here for you, and it's going to be an awesome semester. And thank you for all your hard work and energy, and we'll see y'all on Sunday.